Have you ever wondered what it takes to go from the heart of Miami to the highest court in the land and still remain an enigma? Because behind the black robe, behind the gavel, and beyond the history books, there's Ketanji Brown Jackson, a name you've heard, but a story you've barely scratched the surface of. This isn't just a tale of law and justice. It's a story of relentless grit, invisible ceilings shattered, and a quiet power that took the world by surprise. Let's rewind, because the road to the Supreme Court? It's never straight, and hers was paved with brilliance and mystery. Born on September 14, 1970, in Washington, D.C., Ketanji Onaiaka Brown seemed destined for something big. But no one could have predicted how big. Her parents, Johnny and Ellery Brown, were both public school educators. But here's where it gets interesting. Her father was also a law student while she was in preschool. Imagine tiny Ketanji sitting at the kitchen table, coloring while her dad outlined constitutional law. Her legal education? It started before kindergarten. And her name? Ketanji Onaiaka. It means lovely one in a West African language. From the start, she carried the weight and beauty of identity, heritage, and purpose. Fast forward. She didn't just go to Harvard. She dominated Harvard, both undergrad and law school. Editor of the Harvard Law Review, while juggling jobs, expectations, and the quiet hum of, "You don't belong here." But she didn't just belong. She led. But here's a twist most people don't know. After law school, she clerked for Justice Stephen Breyer, the very seat she would one day take over. Full circle? It's beyond poetic. It's prophetic. And then came the climb. Public defender. Yes, she was the first former public defender ever to sit on the Supreme Court. Her career wasn't carved by privilege or paved by politics. She chose the path least walked. She defended those with no voice. She represented the accused. That's not just law. That's courage. But behind every powerful woman is a team. She married Dr. Patrick Jackson, a Boston surgeon, whose family traces back to England and includes a long line of medical professionals. So yes, in a twist that stuns some, Ketanji is part of an interracial marriage and proud of it. Together, they raised two daughters, Talia and Layla, who stayed out of the spotlight until one of them, at just 11 years old, wrote a letter to President Obama asking him to nominate her mom to the Supreme Court. Yes, that actually happened. And no, she didn't get it then. But years later, with a different president, that same little girl watched her mom become the first black woman in U.S. history to sit on the Supreme Court. And let's talk lifestyle. Unlike the headlines you'll see about billionaires and mansions, Ketanji keeps things low-key. Her net worth? Estimated between $5 million to $10 million. Modest by Washington elite standards, but built through decades of government work, legal excellence, and wise investments. She's not flashy. You won't find her driving luxury sports cars or vacationing in the French Riviera. But she does live in a peaceful neighborhood in Washington, D.C., with her husband and kids, prioritizing privacy, family dinners, and quiet power over public access. Power in her world doesn't scream. It resonates. She didn't just break glass ceilings. She obliterated them. She stands where no black woman has ever stood before, on the Supreme Court of the United States. And every decision she writes, every question she asks, carries the echo of generations whose voices were never heard in those hallowed halls. She's not just a justice. She's a symbol. And yet, she wears that crown like armor, graceful, steady, and unshakably human. But here's the final twist. We still don't know her full story. Her mind is a fortress. Her future opinions? They may change the course of American law. And her legacy? It's still being written right now. So the next time you hear the name Ketanji Brown Jackson, don't just think of history. Think of mystery, of power and silence, and of a woman who walked into the highest court in the land, not to blend in, but to redefine it. History was watching when she took the oath. But make no mistake, the future is